Welcome to the 9th episode of the Middleborough High School Building Project video. It's February 20th and it's cold outside, so we're going to start this episode inside the Rotunda. The Rotunda is well under construction. The structural steel framing is complete, the roof is on it, and they're starting to work on setting up for interior finishes. A tremendous amount of light gauge metal framing has been installed inside the circular rotunda. This will all be sheathed with gypboard and then receive the finishes. The rotunda is the focal point of the building, connecting all three sections and the major hallways. We're on the first floor of Building C in one of the academic corridors. To my right is the maker space, which will feature tools and robotics for kids to use on projects. To my left are several classrooms that'll all support that, science and technology. The corridor is full of utilities. All the HVAC, sprinkler, water, electrical, and data and communications have all been run in this part of the building. They're now adding sheetrock to the stud walls. The lower part of the sheetrock is appropriate for the installation of tile, and the upper part for drywall. The framed openings on this side of the wall are for displays. This is a classroom on the first floor. They're all about the same size and roughly the same shape, although there are some corner classrooms. What really makes this classroom different than a lot of them in the existing high school is the large amount of glass. There'll be natural sunlight in every single classroom in the building. This is a typical collaboration space between classrooms on the first floor of C building. There'll be furniture here that'll allow students to sit and talk and work on projects together outside of the classroom spaces. For the most part, the architectural features of the building are fairly modest, but there are some areas where we've added interesting ceiling features to dress the spaces up and make them interesting. This is a third floor classroom cluster area with a collaboration space in the middle between all the classrooms. The hallways in the building are generous, and there are many areas where students can congregate and work together. That's part of the strategy for 21st century learning. This is an art classroom on the third floor of C building. It's a large space which contains actually two classrooms that can be separated by a movable partition. It has a large bank of north-facing windows to ensure even sunlight and natural light throughout the day. This is a view from the third floor down into the rotunda space. The lower part of the rotunda walls will be clad in brick, and there'll be a monumental circular stair extending from the first floor up to the second floor landing at the Learning Commons. We're standing in the Learning Commons outside the library. This area will be filled with furniture where it'll be comfortable for the kids to study and collaborate. The media center itself will be able to be separated and closed off in off times so that the resources inside, computers and books, can be secured. There's a great view from the Learning Commons down into the Student Commons and cafeteria space below. We're now in Area A of the building, which contains the Fine Arts Wing. We're on the second floor, standing in the TV Pro classroom space, looking towards the TV Pro studio. The cast iron pipes you see suspended from the ceiling are roof drains. They run throughout the building and will be concealed in the ceilings. The opening in the floor in front of us is for a large stair that will access this part of the building and provide an entrance to both levels of the auditorium. This is a view of the auditorium from the back of the stadium-style seating. The masonry block walls on each side are done up to the roof. The roof structure has been installed, and this week, the actual roofing is being put down on the top. Over at the sports stadium, there's been a lot of progress, which is way ahead of schedule. The bleachers are in the process of being installed and are probably 70% there. The press box is being fabricated off-site and will arrive complete and will be erected very soon. The concession building structure is complete. It's been bricked up on the outside, and they're working on the roof and the trim now. That area will be ready for use by athletes in the spring. Nothing shows how far we've come along as the installation of brick on the main facade of the building facing the street. The brick is going up from here, the office area on Building C, and they'll work clockwise all the way around the building until the brick facade is complete. Thank you for joining us in this 9th episode of the Middleborough High School Building Project video. We'll see you again in March.